Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Soul Seeds, where the lovely Emma is my guest expert for today. And Emma is both an author and a witchy entrepreneur, which I love. So thank you so much, Emma, for being here.
Hey, thank you for asking me.
Thank you. And the topic we are going to talk about today is altars and creating a sacred space. So I would love to know, what is really the purpose of creating an altar?
An altar, well, you can have many altars. I have many altars in my home and my garden, but I have a main altar, which is there where you can see my
Mm,
cauldron. It's a place where I can focus daily on my intentions and really use the energy of that altar to banish things and also manifest things. So I can change it by adding in different herbs and crystals and colors because each of those things have different energetics to help
mm,
me with those things. Or I can bring in like pictures of tarot cards and stuff, and that helps me sort of connect to what am I really focusing on at the moment. I do altars for things that I am personally manifesting, or
mhm.
I do altars for different Sabbaths or seasons and things like that. But
Mm.
that's my main altar.
Oh, I didn't know that you could have like several altars. I'm quite new to this
Oh, right, yeah.
experience.
Well, I
So yeah,
personally, yeah, I don't have rules, so I personally
yeah.
like to have altars. So I have a coffee table, which is like my altar as well in our lounge, because
Hmm.
that's the center of our home. So
Hmm.
I always keep that really clean and fresh, and I'm always updating that. And it
Hmm.
has lots of crystals and plants on it. Then I have an altar I've got like a witchy shed at the bottom of the
Hmm.
garden. So I have an altar in there as well, because that's focused on healing and more stillness. So it's a more of a gentle space.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just helps with the vibe that I want to give off
And
within
it's
the sacred
interesting
space.
that you say that like every altar has like its own energy. So what
Mhm.
can you say a bit more about that?
Yeah, so obviously this is my little sacred space that I do all my sessions in, my one-to-ones, my readings, and I connect to spirit in this room.
Mm,
So this altar really is to hold me and also to help me really focus on what I'm calling into my life and what I'm
mm,
wanting to let go of. My lounge one is more of a collective healing for family and to make them feel really comfortable and energized and held and relaxed. And then obviously the witchy shed is a lot more gentle. So there's a lot of rose quartz, there's a lot of dried plants and herbs down there and flowers. So
mm.
yes, different things.
Oh, that's wonderful. And
Thank
why
you.
is it so important for us, I think, especially in our busy day-to-day lives, to create
Yeah.
such a sacred space for ourselves?
I think because we're so programmed with society to move through life fast and get all this materialistic stuff and have all these targets put upon us, it's a very masculine, sort of hungry, busy hustle life. I think the beauty of an altar is it makes us return home to ourselves. It brings us this present moment. It connects us to the stillness and slows us down. And I think
Mm.
that's really important for our nervous system and our overall well-being as well. So it's very
Yeah,
important.
my mind keeps racing. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I keep getting these new ideas. It's like when you create this, like you say, this sacred space, it's like an
Mm.
invitation for yourself to
Yeah.
take a breath, slow down,
Slow down.
focus on what matters to you.
Yeah. I mean, some people don't have much space. I mean, my children
Mhm.
have left the home, so it's different for me. I have bigger space and there's no toddlers messing around with the objects on the altar or
Yeah.
anything like that. But you can also have an altar that you can pull out from under the bed and set it up every day. I do have a
Mhm.
little altar on the floor as well, which is
Mhm.
what when I use to meditate and journal. So everything's on there that I set up as well. So you can
Mm.
put things away and bring it out. It doesn't have to be always out. But
Right.
just the
Yeah.
actual act, the ritual of creating the altar in itself can be really beneficial as well.
Yeah, that's also a very mindful
Yeah,
act to do, right?
yeah,
And you
yeah,
can almost like refocus on what matters to you, what you want to focus on, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then just bringing other elements to help with that energy, like crystals and plants and
Mm.
colors and yeah.
And do you, well, of course, you say it's focuses on your own energy because you can, of course, then alter your
Yeah,
altar.
yeah, Yeah, yeah,
When your own
exactly.
energy shifts and or
Yeah,
when like the seasons shift or
yeah, yeah.
mm.
So it really helps you.
And if someone wants to start with this ritual of creating that altar, what would you advise them, or what are some tips that you can say, oh, you can add this or add some flowers or herbs or pictures, or what would you
Yeah.
advise someone?
I would start either with a mantelpiece in your living room
Mhm,
or do a floor altar. So there's two
mhm,
there. For the floor altar, I would bring in something that you can use for your daily practice.
mhm,
So that is connecting to yourself in a more spiritual way every
mhm,
morning or every day or every afternoon. And you want things on there that's even a simple white candle would be really, really good. Any white candle, any plants, any flowers from the garden, any shells, stones, treasures from nature. Could bring in any oracle cards and a notebook. So that could be
mhm,
your floor altar. And then you would light your altar, so you'd light your candle.
mhm,
You can cleanse your space and yourself with incense or a plant smoke wand that can be made out of rosemary or lavender or even a cinnamon stick. And
mhm,
then for your home one, you could leave an offering for your home spirits, so or your spirit guides or your loved ones. So you could put photographs of them on your altar.
mhm,
You could then go and get something from your garden or from the market. You can go and get some flowers and keep putting offerings on there.
mhm,
That's a good way to start.
mm. Like I said, my mind is racing right now. I have a garden. I have an altar at home with like some crystals and just some things,
Mhm.
some knickknacks that I'm just drawn to, like little fairy statues and such.
Yeah,
But I have a garden, and it never came to my mind to actually put a little altar in my garden. So yeah,
yeah.
what would you
It's really
advise me that I can
lovely.
do in my garden? I would love to have
Yeah,
some space.
I've got one in the middle of the garden. So we've got a
Mm.
raised bed in the middle.
Oh, wonderful.
It's got a big statue on it. So I've put
Mm.
crystals, I've planted certain flowers that I really like. So
Mhm.
I've got wild foxgloves, I've got cornflowers,
Mm.
daisies. It's
Lovely.
really beautiful. And then I've put lights around it so I can constantly sit and I obviously can see it from my window, but in the
Mm.
summer, because it's been quite wet here in Cornwall,
Mhm.
I can actually sit there in the evening, have a little fire on and just sort of focus
Mhm.
there in my garden space. And that's nice because you're in nature.
Mhm. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
know that some, like crystals, for instance, aren't
Mhm.
that happy when it comes to either like sunlight or rain or
Yeah.
yeah, what are some
Yeah.
crystals that you can or are
I've
safe to
got,
put outside?
I've got mine clear quartz and raw quartz. So I've got those kind of crystals on there because they're fine for outside. So something
Mm.
quite hardy and strong.
Yeah, because I think like selenite isn't that happy when it comes to water.
Selenites are very good with water, and amethyst or citrine will lose its color.
Mm.
Rose quartz, the raw version, that might be okay, but it will eventually lose its color with the sunlight.
Right.
So you want something that's already quite clear to start off with.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's some things to be a bit sensible about, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And can you also create a sacred space in your home without it being an altar?
Yes, 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 yes. Each of my rooms in my home are sacred spaces. I have been an interior designer as well, so it's really important for me. But I love to create a sacred space and I love to keep changing it around or redecorating or adding new things. I find that really fun.
Mhm,
Sacred space is really just a room. So it could be this room or it could be my lounge where I like to, especially my lounge. So we'll start with that one really. The lounge is really, I want nature, I want colors, I
mhm,
want things that reflect me as an authentic person. So
right.
I have to then start off with journal. What does my soul really love? What does my soul really need? And my soul loves wood, plants,
Mhm,
green, crystals, and nice magical objects.
mhm,
I also buy everything from like thrift stores, and so everything is secondhand. So I like the
mm,
stories behind it.
right.
I love art and I love textures. So I've got a lot of sheepskins and different textures as well that make me feel cozy. It's
Mm,
when you look at these objects, well, how does it make you feel?
right. Oh, it's like
That's
Marie
one of the
Kondo. Like,
things.
does it spark joy?
Yeah, does it spark joy? How will it make you feel? How will it hold you in that space?
Mm,
But also, when you're doing it for the home, what kind of energy do you want to give out to people who are coming to visit you or
mm,
who live there?
Yeah.
and really put that into that space.
Like a warm and welcoming, cozy
Yeah.
space, right?
Yeah. So that's things like I don't like overhead lights, so I have lamps, I have
Okay.
candles, fairy lights. So I like
Mm,
that warm, cozy glow. I like incense a lot, so I'm constantly burning incense in there,
yeah.
essential oils. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
anything
I
you
have a few
feel
candles and
something.
Palo Santo sticks like all over the
Yeah,
place. And my mom just recently she walked into my home and the first thing she said like, "Oh, it smells so nice here."
yeah, yeah. And they're instantly, so if someone comes around and they're really busy and they come
Mm,
into your sacred space, they instantly their energy will drop and they'll
yeah.
feel calm and relaxed and they don't want to leave. So
Even when you want them to eventually.
yeah, you have to kick them out.
Yeah, and like I know you love this space. It's sacred for me too, but now you can leave. No.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you can create a sacred space in your own home then.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
I think
also
it's really
nice to work
important.
with textures and like you can see my pillows here. I love like these soft
Yeah, like
and
cushions.
colorful pillows. They also feel like
Yeah,
a warm hug when you
yeah,
enter your home.
yeah. That is a sacred space.
But thank you so much, Emma. It was wonderful to talk to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.